Hey everyone, welcome to the Spring Skies Creative Challenge. Today I am working on the magnets. I'm going to use two of the large magnets. You have six. If you have the box, you have 6 magnets. Feel free to do these designs, or you can replicate these on all 6, or you can try these 2 designs and then try some of your own. Totally up to you. On the step-by-step guide, I have these painted black, and then I did a top coat with a blue enchanted before dotting. Today I've got mine painted bright blue, and then I've got the enchanted on top. So just demonstrating a different look for you to do today. You can paint your background any color you want to. I've got my 5 main colors here. I've got Blue Haven, Laurel, Almondine, Coral Blush, and Coral Shell. And then we're going to be working pretty small since these are magnets. So you're going to want your 4mm tool and your 2 styluses. All right, so I'm going to do the first design here using Blue Haven and a 4mm center dot. I don't typically make my grid lines when I do these. The grid lines are on the sample, so if that is helpful to you, go ahead and put them on there. When working small like this, I don't always use them, but you know me, I use my north, south, east, and west a lot, so you can use that to help guide you. So I've got my Blue Haven center dot. Then I'm going to use my 1mm tool. That's the smallest end of my stylus, and Coral Shell, which is the lighter of the corals. And we're going to create 16 dots around the center here. So I always start with my north and south, and east and west. Then we cut those in half. So we start with 4, then we go to 8. And then we cut those in half again. So we'll end up with 16. I'm going to flip to the larger side, 1.5mm, and I'm going to add 16 of the Blue Haven. When I'm working small like this, I'm not going to worry so much about them being halfway in between the previous dots. I'm just going to kind of go for it. So north, south, east, and west again. And my halfway, northwest, northeast, southeast, southwest, and then halfway in between those, for a total of 16. Next, I am going to get my 3mm tool and Almondine. We're going to add 8 dots. So, north and south, east and west, northeast, southeast, northwest, and southwest. So 8 of the Almondine. And we're going to add a swipe of Coral Blush. Coral Blush is the darker of the corals. And this is going to be the edge of our circle. So they're going to go in between the Almondine dots. So I like to line it up towards me and then swipe inwards. We're going to add 8 of these, one in between each of the almonds. Then I'm going to get my 1.5 millimeter tool and Blue Haven, and we're going to walk the dots in sets of 3 coming out from this almond. So dip and 1, 2, 3. Dip and 1, 2, 3. Dip and 1, 2, 3. And you get the idea all the way around. Then at the end of those rays that we just did, the blue rays, we're going to add 8 dots with our 3 millimeter tool in the Blue Haven. And this should bring us right about the same place as these orange swoops start. Now we're going to add some little finishing touch flourishes here, and we're going to use our teeny tiny 1 millimeter tool, and we're going to add some Almondine swipes. So next to this large coral blush swipe, we're going to come in with our 1 millimeter tool. I'm going to come down just a little bit from the end and add a swipe on each side. If you want, you can add like a little curve to it, or you can keep it straight if that's what you prefer. Once you have those, I'm going to keep using the 1 millimeter tool, and I'm going to use my coral shell, which is the lighter of the oranges, and I'm going to add another swipe or swoop just a little bit farther down. I'm going to switch to my 3 millimeter tool, and I'm continuing with the coral shell, which is the lighter coral, and right down at the bottom of that flourish I'm going to add a dot, and that should be right in between those Almondine dots. and it kind of hides where we meet all those swishes and swipes. Right? Okay, so grab your 1mm tool and we are going to walk the dots. So 1.5mm centers on the edge here. Goodness gracious, I almost forgot about this part, and this is the best part. This really makes it look finished. Alright, so 1.5mm centers and then 1mm, and I'm going to walk the dots. And you're not going to be able to fit very many, 3 or 4, just around this edge here. Then with our 1.5mm tool, coral shell, and I'm just going to add a dot at the end of those coral blush swooshes. There is the first design. You'll have to tell me whether you like it better with the black background or the bright blue background. I kind of like both. I don't know which one I like better. All right, we're going to set this baby aside. And then we're going to work on the next design. So I've got my stone here, bright blue background, enchanted top coat. I'm going to use the 4mm tool and a Blue Haven center dot. And with my 1mm tool, we're going to use coral shell, that's the lighter, and 8 dots. So that means we're doing north and south, east and west, and then halfway in between those gives us 8. Then we're going to switch to 1.5mm and laurel, and these go halfway in between. So we're going to do 8 laurel, 1.5mm, and these go in between the previous row. Eight of those. Then I'm going to switch to 2.5mm coral blush. So it's the darker coral. And then continue the same process. 8 dots in between the previous row. And then with our 3mm tool and our Blue Haven, we're going to create swipes going outward. So I'm going to start in between my dark coral, my coral blush, and I'm going to go outwards. So we're going to add 8 swipes outwards. And we're going to switch to our 1mm tool, and we're going to enhance these swipes. So first, 1mm Almondine, and I'm going to start just a little bit lower than the end, and I'm going to swipe downwards. Now with these swipes, I'm going to try not to have them touch. Pretty close, but not touching. And there are a few of those that skipped a little bit, so I'm just going to use my teeny tiny pencil lead to fix those. All right, so we got Almondine. I'm going to use the same tip, Blue Haven, 1mm. Again, I'm going to move down just a little bit. And add some Blue Haven swipes. And I'm going to continue this pattern with Coral Shell, which is the lighter coral. And we're going to make our smallest little swipe here at the bottom of that little design that we're doing. I'm going to switch to my 4mm tool and Laurel. And in between, right along the edge, I'm going to add a 4mm Laurel dot in between each one of these little designs that we just created. And And then the last step, I'm going back to my 1mm tool and Coral Blush, which is my darker coral. And I'm going to walk the dots from this Coral Blush down to Laurel. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can fit 4 in there comfortably. So we walk the dots all the way around. And there you have it. There are 2 designs for today. The Creative Challenge for Spring Skies. I can't wait to see your versions. Let me know whether you like the black background or the blue background better, or maybe you used your own different color for the background. I would love to see. Make sure you share with us in the share space or in the Facebook group so we can cheer you on. And I'd love to see what other designs you can come up with on these little magnet blanks here, and make sure you post those as well. I'm going to gather up some ideas that don't have guides, but maybe they will spark some creativity. So feel free to check those out, and I will see you next week for our live on April 21st. Have a great night, everyone.